Is someone around you pushing you to a point where you're acting out of character? If so, this could be reactive abuse. If you're unsure about what that even is, keep watching and you will find out. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to my channel. On this channel, I talk about topics connected to mental health, spirituality, and how you can connect to your own divinity. So if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe. Before I jump straight into the topic of the video, I just want to let you know that I am offering life coaching services. I have a link down in the description. If you're interested in that, you can find out what services I provide and how I work with clients. So yeah, if you're interested, like I said, the description is down below. I also have a book out called Growing Young, Mind, Body, and Soul Cohesion. If that's something that you're interested in, there's a link down below in the description as well. Reactive abuse is when a victim reacts to the abuse that they are experiencing. Abusive people will use your reaction to their abuse as manipulation or gaslighting you, or even a form of controlling you. So if you haven't worked through your triggers or you don't know your triggers, just be aware that abusive people do know your triggers, and they will try to trigger you to react negatively to the way that you are being treated. And then when you act in a way that is not so ideal or viewed as negative, then that person will make you feel like you are the bad guy or the bad girl for reacting in a certain way to the way that they have abused you. A narcissistic person will abuse you, and then when you react, they will convince you that you are the abusive person. Sometimes as a victim, you might let abuse just slide and you don't do anything about it, but we're all human, and sometimes we break from the abuse that we're receiving, and when you break, that will be used against you. There are some people who even go as far as to recording you once you react to their abuse, and they will make you feel like you're the unstable one, or they will convince other people to think that you're the unstable one. But it's the fact and the truth is that they have been abusing you for so long, and you just react one day, and then you might even be convinced that you're the unstable one. But in reality, you're just reacting to the abuse that you have been experiencing. I'm gonna share an example of my own life and how reactive abuse played out for me. So my ex was a narcissist, and he was very good at knowing my triggers. So he would trigger me, and then he would calmly step back, and then I would react to his abuse. So with this connection, my response was either to fight or freeze. And then, so when I would fight, it was mostly me yelling back to his abuse that he was dishing out to me, or I would freeze and not speak at all. And when I wouldn't speak, he would demand and yell at me for a response. And it was weird, it was very toxic, but nevertheless, it lasted 3 years. So when the connection had ended between me and him, because of cheating on his part, he tried to convince me that he wasn't cheating, but that's a story for another day. But after the end of the connection, I was very angry and very resentful, not only to the abuse that he had given me, but all the abuse that I had repressed since childhood. So I have a track record of being abused since childhood, and I told the universe, like, the next person who comes along and abuses me or takes advantage of me is going to get it. I'm going to match their energy, and that's what happened. I reacted to all the abuse that he was giving me, and all the abuse that I experienced that I didn't do anything about, all started coming out. So I really reacted to the abuse in a very strong way. And even through the whole situation with my ex, there was times when I didn't react at all, and I'm just like, whatever, it's okay, it is what it is. And like, some of the abuse I just let slide, or I just suppressed, I should say. But when the end of the connection came, all of that started coming out, and then I just reacted. I put all that energy of anger and resentment towards him, because that was my reaction to the abuse that I had suppressed from, like I said, not only him, but all the abuse that I was experiencing since a child. So this situation gave me a lot of perspective because I started to become the abusive person, and I justified it. I said, like, you know, he deserved it, and I knew he had a track record of being abusive to people because he had admitted to me. So not only was I angry for myself, I was angry for all the victims he had informed me about. So I'm just like, yeah, you deserve this. He deserves this abuse. And, you know, I'm not even gonna lie, there was a part of me that loved doing it, loved being this abusive person towards him. And what allowed me to keep going was the justification of why I was doing it. And yeah, even though there was a part of me that did actually enjoy being an abusive person, there was a big part of me that didn't. So I would become abusive, and I would give this like high from being that way, because the anger that was in me finally had an outlet. The anger that was suppressed for years and years and years had an outlet. So that outlet was him. But the thing was, I knew that this was out of my character, and even though after I did the abuse, I would feel really bad about it, and I just really wanted to work through that, and I didn't want to be in that state any longer. And so I worked on forgiveness, and I was finally able to release that anger and release that situation and release him and all that. And I came to a place where I was able to end that dynamic of me becoming the abusive person. But it definitely gave me so much insight of why people might be abusive. Because honestly, like I said, as crazy as it may seem, it actually felt pretty good to do that to him, and like to give him that this lower vibrational energies and send him that energy. It actually felt very good, but I didn't want to, you know, do that anymore. I knew that I was sent here to give people light and, you know, hope and do healing work. So I definitely didn't want to become an abusive person. I didn't want to continue to abuse anybody else. So like I said, I really had to work a lot on releasing the anger that was inside of me. I'm also a big believer of karma, and what you put out there returns to you. So I definitely needed to do a lot of healing work because I didn't want that energy to be returned to me, right? And just because you have been abused doesn't give you the right to abuse anyone, right? So I don't want to make it seem like I'm promoting that you should abuse someone who's abused you, right? Like, if that happens, it happens, but definitely work on your healing if that has happened to you. Because if you're an abusive person because someone has abused you, you are blocking your blessings. And I was aware of that, like, hey, like, if I don't cleanse out this energy of anger, I am blocking all the blessings that want to come my way. So that was another big reason of why I so desperately wanted to get out of that energy and heal myself, because I knew that it wasn't right, you know. At the end of the day, no matter how much I justified why I was becoming the abusive person, it still wasn't right, you know what I mean? Like, it's not right to abuse people. So but like I said, I wouldn't change anything for the world in this situation either, because like I said, it gave me a lot of perspective on like abusive people and like why they continue to abuse people, or like why it's so hard for some people to get out of that like state of becoming an abusive person. It's like that energy that comes over you, it's hard to get out. Sometimes it feels good, and it's like sometimes gives you a sense of power and control, but it's in a negative way, right? And like I said, I'm not here to go and create damage in people's lives, but at that time it was what it was, and it is what it is. And he also got his karma for all the times he abused people and nobody reacted, you know? So life is funny sometimes, and it's a cycle. So I didn't want to continue the abuse because I don't want that energy coming back to me, you know? So if you are experiencing abuse from someone, I would highly suggest you work on your belief systems of why you have these abusive people in your life and why you allow them to stay. And even if you leave one abusive situation, if you haven't worked on your healing, you might attract another person who is abusive, right? And so you jump into one connection to another abusive situation to another, and that's the cycle where some people get trapped in, and then they're unaware of why they keep attracting the same situation. And it's because there's work to do, right, around why you attract these people. So when you work on your vibration and you work on your healing, you could attract more healed people, more happier people, more loving people. Being the nicest person in the world doesn't mean that you're never going to attract negative people to you, because this universe works on vibration. So you might be the nicest person but have these limiting beliefs of like you're not worthy of attracting love into your life. So if you have that like core belief and you're carrying that vibration, that's what you're going to attract into your life. So yeah, I would definitely suggest that you work on your healing and to eliminate this type of situation, to cut these types of people out. And it doesn't happen overnight, but you know, you're definitely worthy of having loving, happy, healed people into your world, and you will attract that when you start healing yourself. So I really hope that this video was helpful, and if you have any suggestions or any stories of reactive abuse, please share in the comment section. And I guess until next time, peace and love.